What's up, guys? We're out here LARPing in the shed. It's one of the only places where I can get some good natural light without bothering the neighbors. So if there's any reverb or if you're worried about my lack of tools, don't let that get to you. It's really not that serious. Today, we're going to go over the poor man's PDW, which is to say pretty much any braced pistol chassis system. In my opinion, if it's not like a standalone firearm, there are going to be some compromises, and this is no different. Today, we're going over the Recover Tactical. This is their 2021, which is their large frame model for the 45 ACP Glock and the 10 millimeter Glock. Here we have it on a Glock 40, which is 10 millimeter. I got this Glock 40 because I wanted something a little bit bigger than 9 millimeter. I still wanted a semi-auto. This one kind of fit the bill. This is going to be my like camping, bear, farm, pig gun, whatever you want to call it. A pistol that I could keep with me. It had a little bit more snap behind it than the 9 millimeter I typically carry. And I said, well, if I'm going to do that, we might as well get the 40. Get the long slide, get the big boy. And it turns out it's too big. It's too big to carry. I'm kind of a smaller frame guy, so I don't really have that much real estate anyway. And I tried a couple I tried a couple holster setups for it. I got an outside the waistband that works pretty good, but it's too big. It's too heavy. So it ended up just sitting in a bag anyway, while I was out of the farm doing chores or whatever. So when Recover Tactical had a little sale going on, I said, I might as well grab one of these braces, see what it is. If it's going to be a little bit bigger than normal anyway, I might as well just lean into that. So we'll cut to me out of the farm, kind of going over the shooting characteristics of it real quick. And then we'll come back here to kind of do the wrap up. But today we're actually going to go over this Recover Tactical brace that it's sitting in. It is a pistol brace for a pistol. And the use case for this is getting a little bit more out of a pistol than it would typically have without jumping into like full-blown rifle, full-blown like PDW territory. The reason you might want one of these is you want something that's a little bit easier to shoot with your pistol. Maybe you don't train with your pistol enough. I don't. You'll see that shortly. Or you want to run maybe a different caliber. You just want a little bit more effectiveness out of it than a typical pistol that you might carry every day. So we'll go over this real quick. We'll do a little shooting. We'll compare it to my pistol that I typically carry, and we'll see if it is worth the $100 price tag. I got this on sale, $100. And I have not yet shot it. So we're going to shoot it today, go over it, see how it feels, and see if it's worth it. The gun I carry every day is a little dated at this point. The gun I carry every day is this Glock 43. It's right when they first came out. I said, I got a bunch of Glocks, I'll get another one. And let me show you this real quick. One thing about me is that I carry my guns a lot more than I clean them, or a lot more than I even shoot them, which I know, like, leave it in the comments. I know I need to be cleaning and shooting my guns more, but this probably hasn't been shot in, I don't know, this probably hasn't been shot in 3 months. It doesn't go to the range that much. And it is just caked full of dust and debris and trash. I expected to run perfectly, but I don't know. The only thing I did is I swapped the sights on it. It's got night sights on it. But this is kind of dated by today's standards. It is 6+1, no light rail. I'm a huge advocate of white lights on guns. I made a couple videos on that. And I've got Glock 19. I've got a Glock 19. I've got a Glock 17. I've got other guns with lights on them that I used to carry. And it just turns out that I work in an office. And I just sit on my butt all day long and just click-clack on computers. And carrying even a Glock 19 was just like, it was just a little too uncomfortable for me all day. I get it,
quit whining. But this was the gun that I actually carried every day, and the gun that you carry is better than the gun that's in the sock drawer at your house. So we'll run this a little bit today, literally knock the dust off of it, and see how she does, see how that compares. If I'm out here at the farm, sure, it's not that big of a deal for me to carry a rifle, but I do pop into town a lot. I've got family that lives in town. I'll spend some time in town. I'll spend some time out here, and it's not always appropriate to be lugging rifles in and out because I am not an advocate for storing a gun in your car. Don't do that. So it's not always appropriate for me to just be lugging rifles in and out of other people's homes all day long. So something a little bit smaller form factor, like the 41 with the brace, maybe a happy medium for me. That gives me, well, we'll see, but I'm hoping that it gives me a little bit more range, a little bit more accuracy out here, and the 10mm cartridge is a huge difference from the 9mm if you're loaded correctly. So let's shoot these, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Come here, give me a hug. Come here. Let me show you off. This is my sweet boy. Oh yeah. This is Duo. Yeah. Duo's a sweet boy. He helps me out on the range. So what we're gonna do is a quick little bill drill. Is that 6 or 5? It'll be whatever I feel like. It'll either be 6 or 5 at 5 yards. We're gonna do my handgun first, the one I carry with me every day. I don't train with it. It is dirty. It may malfunction. Those are the caveats. But we're at 5 yards, which honestly, I feel like maybe like 5 and some change. Like, this feels really close. Like, I'm not a good pistol shooter, but this feels really close. So I got a timer. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna do back-to-back real quick. We're gonna do pistol, and then we'll do the recover brace. All right? And this is stone cold scenario. It's getting close to Christmas, and you are ringing a bell outside of Home Depot, but for some reason the bell rings to me in binary, and it tells me exactly when and where I'm gonna die. So 5 shots. Timer says I did 6. I'll have to look at the videos. It was either 5 or 6. Timer says I did 6 in 3, 6, 7. Oh no, these are marked, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all within that square. That is the pistol. We'll go grab the braced 10mm and see how that does. Oh, this thing is dirt. I laid it down. I laid it down in the dirt. Emulate this thing being in a bag, so it's gonna be on the ground, which will kind of emulate a draw, because pulling something like this out of a bag, it's just like, it's not the same, and you know it. I figured out what my malfunctions were. It wasn't the can, it was the ammunition. This is an aftermarket barrel, obviously. This barrel does not like the flat-nosed training 10mm. So we've got some other training 10mm, but this is MagTech jacketed hollow points. It seems to run these all right, so we'll do the same thing. All right, I'm digging through my backpack. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Honestly, pattern really similar. I'm just trying to go kind of quick up front. 4, 5, 8. It's doing that same thing where that says that first shot is 001. I don't know. That's the difference. Is it worth it? I don't know. We'll push this out a little bit farther and really see where like a braced, like PDW kind of braced pistol really comes into play. But my initial reaction says that it's still pretty slow to shoot because the dot moves around, the whole kind of thing moves around a lot. If you've ever shot a suppressed gun, you can feel it. It feels sluggish. It feels a little bit slower. Our suppressed handgun specifically. So it feels a little slower, but we're really going to figure out the difference once we push this thing out a little bit farther. Okay, so same camera arrangement. I got you propped up on the bed of the pickup truck with a bottle of transmission fluid holding you where I want you. we backed our target up to about 50 yards. It's about 50 paces. The good thing about me, one of the good things, there are a lot, but one of the good things about me is that I have a really, really consistent stride. So when I stride out 50 yards, you can know that it's 50 yards. So we've got it backed up about 50 yards. The timer is gone. We're not going to be timing these shots. We're just going to take them as they are. Again, I'm going to do my little Glock 43 versus this braced 10 millimeter. I know 50 yards is not, it's not impossible for a handgun shot, but it might be impossible for me. Those are the excuses. The excuses being I suck. I don't shoot handguns a lot. And I will take whatever advantage I can get. So I'm going to rest up here on the corner of this pickup truck with my little bitty Glock 43. I'm going to take 5 shots. I'm going to swap over to the braced 10 millimeter, and I'm going to take 5 more shots. They're going to be center mass. This is going to be pass fail. We're just gonna see what it does. So 5 and 5. I'm not super confident. We'll say that I'm not super confident. The sun's in my face. Look at this. That does mean that the red dot on the braced 10 millimeter is a little tough as well, because you can't really get good definition on it. You're kind of just holding what you think is center. But I'm going to be doing the same thing here. I guess I could flip my hat around. If I wore my hat the right way, it might be better. Okay. I did swap these out for 115. What is this? Some sort of plus base pad, +2 base pad. It feels really good, actually. I like this. I think it's a Vickers. I think it's a Vickers base pad for the Glock 43. I do like it. So here we go. 3 more. All right, there we go. We'll make this thing clear. These are MagTech jacketed hollow points. I will say one thing about the brace is that it's hard to get down on here. They sell like a higher mount, but this thing's already an MOS, so I kind of want to run what I got. Shots. It pops you in the cheek pretty good. It's not the most comfortable thing, but when you're doing what you got to do, like getting kissed a little bit is it's kind of part of the game. Got my little marker here. We'll go 9 millis first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at 50 yards, that's my 9 millimeter handgun shot. Not that bad. And then with the brace, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So kind of here's the brace versus the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I mean, like I may need to adjust my zero a little bit, but I'm obviously getting a much tighter group. But like, is this the end of the world for the handgun? I don't know, dude. If you were at 50 yards and you had something to rest on, had a moment to catch your breath, these guys wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, like, that's a good hit. That's a good hit, but that's still, oh, I don't know. I'm not left-handed. That's still 20 inches, something like that. All right. Now that I got my dog out of the way, got my hat on, the right orientation, we're backed up to 100 yards again. Like, the sun is right in my face, so it makes that RMR a little tougher. It makes that really short Glock 43 a little tough as well. You're good, buddy. Hey, you're good, dude. You're good. right, we'll go up there and we'll see it, but I did fire an extra on the 10 millimeter because I'm not kidding you when the sun being right in your face with this RMR is a little difficult. I think I might have fired one at a shadow. All right, here we are at 100 yards. Not as conclusive as I wanted it to be, honestly. This could be me. But not as conclusive as I want it to be. So we've got 2 9mm out of 5. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4 10mm out of 6. I mean, this is a 10 mil. That's a 10 mil. That's a 10 mil. That. These are obviously from other days, but I expect to see just a load of 10 mils in there. But I didn't. So I really don't know. Like, is this guy that inaccurate, or am I that bad? I really don't know. Do I need a dupe? My dog is just... It's all right, dude. I will say I've had issues with accuracy, even at really close range, with this barrel. So I don't know if it's a barrel issue or if it's me. Who knows? But this is inconclusive. This is inconclusive. So what do you guys think? Am I trying too hard? Am I trying too hard to make this recover tactical work? I don't think it's a recover issue, other than, you know, it bumps you in the face when you shoot it. But let me know what I did wrong down in the comments. Call me a dummy. That actually helps me out a lot, because I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and the channel always likes the comments. Okay, day 2, kind of shaking down this setup. Day 1 did not go as planned, for 2 reasons. One, we'll get some bad news out of the way. We did have a baffle strike on that Omega 300, so the front end cap's got a little kiss on it. I might just run it for now, because I've got some more shooting to do in the next month, and then after that, we may get it looked at, send it off, get it repaired, or, you know, replaced, or whatever I need to do. It wasn't really bad, but like I said, it was a kiss, but I really just don't know how much that impacts the suppressor and the guns that it goes on. So I'm going to do some validation on a couple guns here to see if it's affecting anything that I could tell. If it is, maybe we just put it in we put it on ice for a little while. If it's not, we may just run it for a couple more months until I get to a slow season where I can send it off. But the second thing is that this thing just is not returning good accuracy. I was in a rush yesterday, you know, excuses. But this thing is just not returning good accuracy. I suspect it's the barrel. I was having some kind of inconsistency issues with this barrel, or with this gun rather, before I even put the brace on it. So we're gonna do a little bit more slow fire today. I've got some bags. I'm gonna refine this 0 as best I can. I'm gonna slow down. We're gonna put it on a rest. We're at 25 yards, and we're just gonna see what accuracy we can squeak out of this thing, because that's the whole reason of like putting it in a chassis or like having a brace, is to get more out of it. And if I'm just not doing it, I wish I had the factory barrel with me. I don't. I just don't have the factory barrel with me. It's so the house. What do you want? All right, we're bagged up. We are at 30 yards. Just gonna get a 0 real quick. I have 2 types of ammunition. I have MagTech, and I have Cellar and Below. Both of them are just kind of jacketed hollow points. I'd assume that this kind of follows the standard this like the standard idea of like modern day 10 millimeter, which is that it's just like, it's kind of underpowered. Like, I don't think these are like really hot, like full bore loads or anything like that. I think this is just middle of the road. Maybe it's hotter than a 40 Smith & Wesson, maybe it's not. I don't really know. So this is MagTech, and this one I'm talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. This is at 30 yards, and 5. We'll shoot a couple more, but I don't know. I got no idea, guys. I will say one mark against this thing: it is kind of uncomfortable to shoot. This thing bumps you in the face every time you shoot it. Trying to get halfway comfy. All right, a little better, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 9 rounds. I'm not left-handed, so that's 9 rounds of MagTech. And there's one that guy over there, so I don't know. So we'll throw, this is 30 yards. I mean, this is not the end of the world. These could be me. I don't think so. But we'll throw the S&B over here. I'm not left-handed, but and here we are. This is the S&B, 10 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That one could have been me. Who knows? But again, this is at 30 yards. So there's S&B. There's the MagTech. This left-right stringing, I mean, it could be me. Like, that chassis isn't super stable, but I kind of like this group a little bit better because I think the left-right stringing might be me. This one is a little bit more, I don't know. Couldn't tell you, but. And here we are, forgive the wind, here we are back at 55 yards. Same deal as the MagTech, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's the S&B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I mean, at 50 yards, firing a 10 millimeter off of that, out of that chassis is pretty good. The chassis moves around a lot. So, I mean, when you dig into it, it flexes and it wiggles, and it is not the most stable shooting platform, even on bags, because the gun moves in the chassis. You know, the gun moves in the chassis a little bit, and the chassis got a ton of flex to it. But you know, these are fist-size groups. Might back this out to 100 and just see what happens. But I mean, these look like the dispersion looks really, really similar. So I don't know if there's a huge difference between those two. I may click my. This could be me, but I might click my 0 over left just 1. So on a laser rangefinder, this is 103.5 yards. And my S&Bs started falling low. Here's 1, here's 2. So I mean, I assume my third one is way down there. I mean, but you know, I think the S&Bs are grouping a little bit better, but they are tending to hit a little bit lower. So I mean, like, you know, this was the 50-yard shot. It's a little low. The MagTechs were a little high. I'm trying not to split the difference or anything like that, but the MagTechs definitely seem to be hanging on at 100 yards a little bit better. I mean, you know, if you took median here, or if you took the middle of that and kind of middle of this, You know, that's 8 inches. I don't know. You guys, you guys tell me. And then drop here. You know, middle of here. That's, you know, that's a little bit more. Like that's probably closer to 11 inches, something like that. So you tell me, is this acceptable for a 10mm pistol out of a chassis at, you know, 103 yards? I don't know. I still think I'm tending a little bit right. I don't know if I want to fix my zero anymore, because I'm kind of splitting the baby here. Because if I run the Magtex, it's a little high, works a little better. If I run the SMBs at 50, you know, it's a little lower and falls off a little bit more. But they are still trending a little bit to the right. But I've already put a click in. Not sure if I really want to mess with that or not. But you know, this is a 50 yard shooter, which I don't know. I think I'm happy with the 50 yard performance. So there we are, 50 yards, 100 yards, or I guess 30, 55, 103. That's what we're getting out of the pistol chassis. Seems, I don't know, passable. A lot better than we were getting yesterday, when we were kind of rushing, trying to get it in before some family time. But I'm a lot happier with that than I was initially. We'll go over like the actual chassis a little bit more here in a second. Show you some of the issues I've been running into. A lot of it, there's a lot. That's my sweet boy. There is a lot of flex in that chassis. There's a lot of movement in there. People say that the 9mm or the, you know, like the small chassis is a little bit tighter than the large chassis, which is what I have from Recover specifically. And if that's the case, great. You know, then that means the 9mm might actually be the pick, but I had a 10mm that I wanted to try it on. It is a little bit wobbly, but we'll go over that here in a little bit of a close-up. The short of it is, it's a Recover chassis. It's a clamshell. It goes around both sides. There's a bolt here kind of in front of the trigger guard that holds it together. This is a magazine holder that comes with it. It's pretty handy. It's, you know, by definition, just a magazine holder. That's all it is. Just like this is just a pistol brace. So this is still just a regular pistol, just a regular Glock. We'll do some goods and bads real quick. What I like about it, you can still retain a weapon light. It's a folding brace, so it folds up into a pretty small package. If you don't have it suppressed, it is a pretty small package. I like running 10mm suppressed. It's a little underrated as a suppressed cartridge, in my opinion. So that's where we are here. The good thing is, it is pretty stable. It still allows you to use a arm. This is just an MOS with an RMR on it. It still allows you to use that. They do sell a little mount that comes over the top if you wanted to put your own red dot, if you didn't have an MOS version or something like that. And yeah, it lets you get a little bit more stable. It makes it a little bit easier to get hits at a little bit farther ranges. It's not much faster up close, but it is more stable. It is a little bit better at range. And the other good thing is price. If you've already got one of these, if you've already got a Glock, I've got this on sale for under $200 for this whole thing, you know, for the brace, for the chassis, for this magazine holder, for all the rails to keep your lights on and stuff like that. It was pretty affordable, which is, you know, why I wanted to try it out. And that's kind of where the good stuff ends. This thing it's got some detractors to it. It is obviously not a standalone device. And my least favorite thing, I'll just go ahead and get it out of the way. This isn't unique to the Recover Tactical. But my least favorite thing about these kind of chassis systems is the fact that you don't have a manual safety. Like, you've still just got a Glock. So if it's sitting in a bag, you know, empty, or if it's sitting in a bag with the trigger guard, they do have a little trigger guard for it, then okay, fine. But the second you pull this thing out and charge it, you got a hot gun, you got a hot Glock just flopping around with an open trigger and no manual safety. So it's not as comfy for me as like an AR or something with a manual safety. You know, you run it a little while, you can just, you know, save it, set it down, and, you know, barring anything crazy, if it gets knocked around a little bit, if something, you know, comes in contact with it, it's not going to go off. Relatively safe. Not exactly the same level of comfort
with something like this. And that's just that's not Recover's thing. That's all the pistol chassis kind of conversions for the most bit. There are some out there that have, I think Recover has one that has its own kind of safety, but that's getting into a bullpup kind of chassis setup, and it's whatever. So if you want to keep it small and cheap like this, you're not going to get a manual safety. And beyond that, two other things. One is going to be the sight. If you don't have a red dot on it, these iron sights are pretty much useless. So if you don't have a red dot, you are going to be relegated to buying a mount, putting a little mount on there, and then that red dot is going to be independent of the firearm. So your accuracy is going to suffer, and it's going to be on a little plastic mount. These plastic rails, they are flexy. So you are not going to be as stable if you're running that setup. If you have a dot, if you have a frame mounted dot, like like an MOS or if you have a milled slide, something like that, you're going to be a little bit better setup. You're going to be in a little bit better situation. But it is still pretty tough to bear down on there and get low enough on there where you can actually get a good line of sight. And when you do, even though it's just a 10 millimeter, a little negligent white light discharge there. And even though it is just a 10 millimeter pistol, this little brace kind of bumps you in the face. It's not super comfy. When I was shooting the accuracy portion, I was, real snuggled up on it, trying to get the best shots I could. And it was not comfortable. It was not fun to shoot. And after that, the last thing is that this thing wobbles. It's not secure. It's not secure. It's not stable. So as you can see, we'll get up close. I don't know how much you can tell, but this thing is moving in the chassis, 100%. You can, whether you're pushing forward on the grip or pulling back on the grip, that red dot's going to be in a different position. Your cheek well is going to be in a little bit of a different position. And it makes kind of those quick shots really difficult. Like the one thing about a real rifle, like a real dedicated setup, is that thing's sturdy. Your red dot's going to be in the same place. You can grab on it, wrench on it, forward, back. It's not going to move. This does move around a lot. It moves around a little bit too much for me. I'm probably going to keep it in this configuration, but it moves around so much so that, I don't know if you can tell, but this little groove right here, that slide is actually chewing away at the brakes. That's how much it's actually moving in this chassis. So do I recommend this? If you are in my situation where you have a Glock that you're not going to carry, where you want something that you can reach out a little bit farther for varmint control or whatever, yeah, it's a perfectly fine setup. Home defense, maybe. I mean, even maybe. I will say when you're inside the house, this kind of loses some of its charm because it's not much faster. It's not much faster than just a pistol if you were decent with a pistol. You saw the comparisons, or I'll roll in the comparisons. For me, shooting this against just my Glock 43, it's like my little EDC pistol. And right up close, it doesn't make that big of a difference. I would be perfectly fine just running this as a handgun. But if you've got a Glock laying around that you're not going to use, that you want to dedicate to something like this, that you're not going to be pulling in and out of it, re-zeroing it, moving your lights around, all that stuff. Yeah, it's a really fun option. But don't take it too seriously. This is not an MP7. This is not a poor man's MP7. This is not a real PDW. So I mean, get that kind of fantasy out of your head. You're not going to be, in my opinion, you can do whatever you want, but you're not going to be like carrying this in a backpack, first responder kind of stuff. It's probably still going to stay just like this for me. It's going to stay just like this, folded up in the front seat of a pickup truck while I'm out of the farm, or if I'm out of the farm and I'm worried about pigs or coyotes or something like that. Because you could snap off a 100-yard shot with this thing with pretty decent accuracy if you if you were pressed to do so. It's just it's just not that serious. So let me know in the comments if you agree with me, or if you got one of these and you use it any differently, or if you have any other opinions on it. Again, I graphics, it was cheap, and it's good, cheap fun. 10 millimeters, not good, cheap fun. So this may be more fun as a 9 millimeter where you can shoot cheaper rounds through it. But I wanted something with a little bit more performance, and I think I got it. But if this was, if this was a long slide 10 milliliter Glock, I think this thing would just come out of it, and I think I would just keep it as a pistol, and then carry around a rifle at the farm. Because carrying around a rifle in the pickup truck at the farm is not that big of a deal. But if you live in more of an urban environment, I do go into town a little bit when I'm back home. And carrying around a rifle bag is not always my preference. So it is good to have an option to have something a little bit smaller. So you put in a regular bag, and that has a little bit more range, a little bit more capability than your standard EDC handgun. But I'm torn. So you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with me. If you got one of these and you run it differently, let me know. So guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.